Just to let everyone know, this episode was recorded before the season starts, so all of this is still predictions. Obviously, some of this stuff hasn't turned out to be true, and this was recorded, I'd say, a week before the start of the season. So, with all that in mind, let's get ready, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the 3&D podcast, where we discuss all things NBA with no narratives and maybe just a little nonsense. I am your host, Justin Genus, and I'm here with Xavier Green. You may remember him from the draft episode a few months back. How you doing, Xavier?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. We're going to be discussing, this will be our Northwest Division preview, the fifth of our 6 division previews. The Northwest might be the best division in the league, but there is quite a bit going on there right now, and I think there's going to be a lot of movement between these teams. You have the Portland Trail Blazers, the Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the ever-controversial Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll get into all of that, the Jimmy Butler situation, how many of these teams will make the playoffs, and which of them may fall off, and who's going to be the biggest riser here. Because in spite of the fact that all of these teams were within a game of the playoffs this past season, there's a question as to whether or not any of them are truly contenders. So to start out, though, I think the elephant in the room is Jimmy Butler, who announced recently, within the past month now, that he wants out of Minnesota very badly, so badly that he will not play to start the season. He has highlighted the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers as destinations he would like to go to. And most recent news we have is that conversations with the Heat broke down. Pretty sure Thibodeau doesn't want to trade him. Where do you see Jimmy Butler ending up this season, Xavier?
Man, I don't even know where I could see him ending up because I believe that they're asking for a bit much from every other team because they asked for Ben Simmons for him, first of all. So
Right.
Kind of aiming high here. So
Thibodeau doesn't want to trade him.
Yeah, I know for the Heat I guarantee you they asked for Bam Adebayo, and they're just not gonna get as much as they want for him. I don't know exactly what team he will go to. The team I think he should go to is the Jazz. That'd be a pretty nice fit.
The Jazz have some pretty good wings, but adding another true consistent offensive force would be a huge asset for them. One of it was never going to happen, but it would have been pretty insane to see LeBron or Paul George sign there this offseason, mostly because the both of them are wings that could add some versatility in offense. If you are let's say the Clippers, because I think they have among the best chances of re-signing Jimmy Butler because of the market. How far are you willing to go to get Jimmy Butler? They have some decent role players, and they have their picks.
Man, I don't know how far I go. I wouldn't trade Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm probably not trading Jerome Robinson for him. I just feel like they're foundational pieces. I honestly don't think the Clippers should trade for him at all, to be honest, because I don't think they're going to be in a position to win anything anytime soon.
Right.
So I just don't. I think it'd be a waste. Because then you're shoving Jerome Robinson down the rotation. He needs those minutes, and I don't know. I just don't think you should trade for him at all. But I might consider. Is Tobias Harris entering free agency in 2019?
I am not certain, but most likely. But if he is, then they're probably looking to extend him. Besides that, the one thing that I do think the Clippers have to take note of is the fact that they are a destination that supposedly Kawhi may want to go to. So, would adding Jimmy Butler boost their chances significantly enough for them to take the risk, you think?
No, because I don't. I just honestly feel like Kawhi is going to resign with the Raptors, and if not, he's headed to the the Lakers to win. Because with these guys, with the Clippers, they're not in the position to win anything. Even if they did add a top five player in the NBA, Kawhi Leonard, with Jimmy Butler, I don't think they're in the position to win anything at all. So their roster just isn't built for right now to. Well, they're not built right now to win. But
Yeah, it's just sort of a ragtag team of decent to above average role players,
hmm
and
if they
then
added
hmm
they're starting Lou Williams at point guard. That's not going to work if you're trying to compete. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, it's going to be too early in his development for him to be anything really or impact the game enough. So yeah, I don't think they should make any of these moves. I think they should just let their young guys develop and kind of go to a miniature rebuild of sorts
all right.
and
So
just
with
let go.
all that being said on the Jimmy Butler situation and the fact that they may not be trading him, the odds of them trading him are sort of the Timberwolves trading him anytime soon are sort of not that high in your opinion. Does that leave? Are the Northwest still the best division in the league, even without the Timberwolves as a playoff threat?
I mean, if you look at the division, it has the Nuggets, Timberwolves, of course, the Thunder, the Trailblazers, the Jazz. Okay. Two of those teams I think are shoo-ins to make it, and those two teams are the Thunder and the Jazz.
Right on.
The Nuggets, I feel like they're going to make it as well, but then you have the Trailblazers and Timberwolves where it could go either way. I mean, Trailblazers, I mean, they may be forced to trade one of their stars this year, but I don't think they do, but they may be forced to. In the Timberwolves, they have the Jimmy Butler situation. If Jimmy Butler does get dealt, then I don't think the Timberwolves make the playoffs. I just don't think Andrew Wiggins is good enough to be a second fiddle to Karl-Anthony Towns, and I'm not sure that Cat is to that level where he can carry an entire team to the playoffs quite yet, especially in this Western Conference. So there goes Timberwolves and the Trailblazers.
I don't like the Trailblazers.
Me neither. Me either, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if they're going to make the playoffs. So they really have three contending teams, well, playoff contending teams in the conference. Are there any other conferences as strong as that?
Divisions. The only one that
Divisions.
comes to mind, in my opinion, is the Atlantic, who have three threats to go to the finals in the Raptors, Celtics, and 76ers.
Yeah, that's probably the most competitive division in the league, right there.
But to be fair, they also have the two of the teams that will be among the worst this year in the Knicks and the Nets.
Yeah, but are we? Never mind. I almost said something crazy, but I still like the Atlantic division over the Northwest division, pretty much because the Raptors, 76ers, and the Celtics, I believe all of them are going to be better than any team that's in the Northwest right now. All three of them will be better than the top three in that division. I mean, but neither teams are really making the playoffs, though. If you think about it, the Nets and the Knicks are definitely not making the playoffs, and the bottom two, the Timberwolves and the Blazers, aren't really making the playoffs either, in my opinion. I don't think they have a chance, really. I just don't think that it's. I just think we should be comparing the top of both divisions rather than the bottom
Right.
two, because at the end of the day, I don't think either of those four teams are making the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, and in that regard, I guess you're implying here that you don't see the Thunder or the Jazz as true title contenders, even though both of those teams are very good.
Yes, very good, not title contenders by any means.
Let's say we remove the Warriors, just hypothetically. Would you would the Jazz or the Thunder move into contention then, in your opinion?
I don't think that. With the Jazz, it just depends on how good Donovan Mitchell, how much he improves overall. Because I feel like that team as a whole, there's not much room for improvement. Dante Exum is hurt again, isn't he?
I'm not certain, but it's a good bet.
If he if he is, then yeah, I don't really see them improving much this season from player to player basis. But if Donovan Mitchell takes another jump, maybe becomes a better playmaker or something like that, and Ricky Rubio is hitting his jumpers, then yeah, I can see them as a title contender. But if that's very unlikely, first of all, and I just don't trust Rudy Gobert stepping outside the paint in the playoffs. I feel like he'll be killed against a team like the Rockets, or possibly even a team like the Lakers. To be
Yeah,
honest,
depending
if
on
they
how
run
much
the
their
whole
perimeter guys develop.
yeah, I feel like he could be killed by teams like that that have guys that like to attack the pick and roll. He doesn't like step out the paint at all. He's still a very good defender,
No
but at the
doubt.
same time, he's not very good outside the paint, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
everyone.
that's a big part of his defense. That's a big part of the defense in the playoffs as well. Being able to stick perimeter guys, I just don't think he can do it. So I don't think they're really a contender, but they're very good.
The Thunder, on the other
Thunder,
hand, I personally, I don't think it's going to happen this year because I don't trust Billy Donovan to institute any offense that's creative enough to utilize the talent around him, around Russell Westbrook. But
man,
they
okay.
have so much. I mean, they have they. I think they have what it takes to really get there and be as good as the Rockets because what they lack in shooting, they make up for in versatility. Roberson is arguably the best perimeter defender in the league when healthy. Paul George was all defensive second team, and Jeremy Grant I think is gonna have a pretty solid year this year, especially if his shooting improves in any way. Westbrook's obviously a top, or in most people's opinion, though you may hear a dissent here or there, a top 10 player. And they still have Steven Adams, who I believe is the top 7 center. Fills his role very well. Elite rebounding team. The bench is shaky, very shaky, but all around, I don't think that there is a team, especially as versatile as them, especially on the defensive end.
I'm not really sold on the Thunder. I don't like them that much, to be honest. Well, I'm not a huge Russell Westbrook fan
Right, you're
myself.
more of a Harden guy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Russell Westbrook doesn't really impact winning much. Like he'll give you your regular season wins, put up a triple double, all that stuff. I don't think that impacts like winning. Can he really get out of his own way enough to? I don't know what that was, but enough to win. Paul George, on the other hand, I feel like he's gonna have another good year playing off of Russell Westbrook. They kind of did a little bit of addition by subtraction by getting rid of Carmelo Anthony. He
For
just
that
didn't fit in
particular
well with
team,
that
yeah.
team. Yeah. Um, I just don't think Westbrook can do it. I don't think. I feel like with Russell Westbrook, you either have to put another dominant player next to him, like Kevin Durant, or you're gonna have a guy who like Anthony Davis. I feel like you're gonna have a big man next to a dominant big man next to him. I don't think he can thrive with other perimeter players unless they're like I said, top of the top. Your
Super
Kevin
elite.
Durant's, Kawhi Leonard's out of the world.
And that's no knock on
But
Paul George, but
yeah, he's just not that.
yeah, well, I
But
think that's an interesting perspective. Um, what I would like to, the thing I want to see from Westbrook this year is to, as you said, get out of his own way. He sort of got the chip on his shoulder, and I use this phrase a lot, but he's being motivated by the fact that he feels like he has to win, but he wants to win, but he has to be responsible for it. And
hmm
I think he takes on bites off more than he can chew a lot, because you'll see those regular season games where he'll be shooting 7 of 22 in the fourth quarter. His team will be down 15, and then he'll heat up and they'll catch that huge make that huge comeback on his back. But that's not a sustainable play style.
Not at all. And that's what we kind of saw coming into the playoffs. I mean, that's why they couldn't beat a team like the Jazz, where they should have beat them. Yes, they had two All-Stars and a Carmelo Anthony. So I feel like they should have beaten the Jazz, but I just don't feel like that play style fit in against a team like the Jazz. The Jazz are super duper good. They were by far the best defensive team in the league. They're kind of consistent, and they I just feel like Russell Westbrook really struggled against a team like that, a team that's so well coached that what he does in the regular season is just not going to fly in the playoffs. That whole I'm going to take over in the fourth quarter, I'm going to shoot 50 shots a game and put up a triple double. I just don't think that works in the postseason because you kind of have to not defer, but you're going to have to learn to trust your teammates a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let Paul George get a
Do
little
what he
bit
does
more
a little
touches than he did. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like Russell Westbrook is a little bit too ball dominant for that team. Well, not for that team, but he's just a bit too ball dominant, in my opinion. I don't see Russell Westbrook having any success until he gets out of his own way, or until he plays with, Anthony Davis or LeBron James or something like that.
If the Thunder, if the Thunder don't hit the conference finals this year, do you fire Billy Donovan?
Yes.
Good, we're in agreement there. I've gotten really tired of watching the Thunder run pick and rolls entirely as their only offense. For the even since the Durant days, they really rely only and exclusively on player talent to create, and that works in Houston because the roster is built around spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Westbrook is not a good enough shooter for that to work, and he doesn't.
To be honest.
And he doesn't even really have to be because there are very few players in the league who can hold him in a one-on-one matchup, but defense is just packing in against him. So
yeah, I'm just tired of watching Billy Donovan's offense or lack thereof. Because like you said, it's pretty much pick and roll. Russell Westbrook run fast, jump high. Paul George
dribble,
shots. Yeah, dribble, make shots. Steven Adams get rebound, pass it again, rinse and repeat. I mean, I feel like with the talent that they have some pretty nice role players, like you said. They have Alex Abrines, I believe.
He could be a sniper if he really got the opportunity.
You have Russell Westbrook, of course, one of the most talented yet frustrating players to watch in the NBA. You have Paul George, who is one of the better off-ball players in the league. Andre Roberson, who can get a whole bunch of offensive boards for you and be a nice cutter.
As a wing.
He kind of figured out. Yeah. He kind of figured out, like, hey, I'm not going to be some sort of super duper offensive force, but I'm just going to fill in the holes.
Exactly.
Just be good enough at what he does. He does his role extremely. I feel like they got some pretty creative things. They got some cut plays for Andre Roberson. Have Abrines run off ball a little bit more. They could have what's his face? How do I say what's his face? Paul George doing a little bit more off ball stuff, and him running with the bench a little. So you could kind of do this thing without Westbrook in the game. I feel like they could do a lot more things.
Ooh, and we haven't even mentioned Dennis Schroeder, who better not play at the same time as Westbrook. He better not be on the floor at the same time as Westbrook, but he will vastly improve their bench lineups.
I forgot he even got signed. I mean, he got traded there. That's my sixth man of the year prediction right there. If he gets enough minutes, of course. If he gets enough minutes, because
Yeah,
but,
he can't play alongside Westbrook because neither of them can shoot. But
and they're both pretty ball dominant. But we saw Dennis Schroeder go head toe to toe with some of the best point guards in the East when Atlanta made the playoffs. What was that? 2 years ago?
It feels like it's been forever, but it's probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, he went toe to toe with John Wall. He gave him nightmares, to be honest. I mean, Dennis Schroeder, he is probably I'd say he's the best backup point guard in the NBA.
Yeah, and I think that this is where he thrives because he doesn't have to play defense. He can just score. He can be like your Lou Williams, maybe with a little less shooting, but a lot more slashing.
Yeah, and a much better playmaker in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna win Sixth Man of the Year. That's a big addition from the Thunder. Doesn't help the spacing though, but
Third best team in the West then?
They're the best team in the West without the Warriors?
Third best, maybe.
Oh yeah, third best. No, I'd say fourth best. I really do like the Jazz better than them though.
Yeah. We didn't mention him earlier. I love Joe Ingles. I think he is the...
Oh yes, ISO Joe.
I think he is the I've said before, I think Robert Covington is the top 3&D player in the league and maybe the best role player in the league, but Joe Ingles is right there with him.
Man, Joe Ingles shot something crazy from three this year, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
over
shot something
40,
like, hold up,
43,
I gotta look this up.
42.
Yeah, that's insane.
He
43,
gave Paul
42% while
George
taking.
so much trouble during the playoffs too.
I like Joe Ingles better than Robert Covington in my because like he's a better passer than what the stats would show. He is a very high IQ player, and of course he plays pretty good defense. He's a bit.
He's an
It
agitator.
was like an auditor. Man.
Yeah, no,
It
like
looks like an
honestly,
auditor. If he
I
looks like
think
Robert Covington,
I think it
I feel like
bothers I think it bothers other NBA players to have a player who looks like that getting under their
shut them
skin and
down.
shutting them down, and it shouldn't be. I mean, obviously it should be that way, but it really benefits him. It benefits his game.
Hitting big shots. Yeah, I mean, Joe Ingles is one of my favorite players to watch. You can really tell he has a high hoops IQ too, man. He can play.
All right. Speaking of high hoops IQ, let's get on to the Nuggets, which to me
Oh yeah.
should be make the biggest improvement of any team that didn't sign a superstar. Nikola Jokic is going to be the driving force of the probably the highest scoring offense in the league. The Nuggets, it's a weird thing. The Nuggets, and I think it has something to do with the altitude, honestly. The Nuggets always play at one of the top 10 paces in the league, no matter how little talent they have, and they're always top 10 in scoring. So,
Man,
how high do you see them jumping this year in the
I
West?
see them. I don't know what they're going to be ranked in the Western Conference, but it's going to be in that top eight for sure. Because Jamal Murray, he's going to take that huge. He's going to take that jump, in my opinion. He's going to
Most
take that
improved
jump
player
into being
candidate right there.
Yeah, he's going to shoot crazy from three. He has a little CJ McCollum, Stephen Curry in him where he can draw out the defense. And then, of course, they have Nikola Jokic, who I do believe is second best center, well, big man in the NBA, behind
Uh,
Joel Embiid.
well, we'll say
Anthony
center
Davis.
because Anthony Davis, right?
Well, Anthony Davis is playing center this year,
Oh
so
yeah,
he's
he
third
is. So
best.
he's the third best center.
Yeah, third best behind Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid in that order. My thing with Jokic is he just has to learn to assert himself a little bit more because he is one of the more efficient scorers in the NBA, and I feel like he just defers to other players too much on that team because he could really go for 20 to 25 points a game if he wanted to.
Every night.
Every single night. He's probably the best post player in the NBA, although that's not as valuable as it used to be. He's still one of the best post players in the NBA. He's one of the better shooters from the center position. And I feel like him being more aggressive would open up the passing lanes and help his passing. I mean, the thing he likes to do best, which is pass the ball. I mean, if he's more of a threat to score the ball, they have to defend him there, which leads to double teams, which he can find the open man. I mean, Jokic, it's
As a
probably
centerpiece, he is. I think that he has more potential than any player in the league as a centerpiece of the number one guy centerpiece of an offense right now, not named LeBron James.
let me think.
I mean, you could say Harden, but there are a lot of guys. You can find guys like Harden. There aren't a lot of players. I mean, maybe Giannis, but there aren't a lot of players who work the way Jokic does as a low post presence. Most offenses run through the pick and roll and perimeter, and then maybe you see some high post stuff with guys like LeBron and Giannis, and that's where most of playmaking comes from on the outside. But Jokic is a passer like we have never seen. He can step out and hit the three ball, so he spaces the floor when he doesn't have it, and he has moves. Like it's not. I mean, he's slow. If I'm correct, he had less than 10 dunks last year. But
I believe so. Something crazy like that. Like you're 7 feet tall. Come on, reach up.
just put it in the basket. He's a great offensive rebounder too, and I cannot wait to see what crazy passes he makes in this with this new 14-second shot clock off
Jesus
rebounds.
Christ. Man, that's exciting to hear about. Oh, I was about to say something about MPJ. He's probably not playing this season. Um,
I think he played a little bit in preseason.
he did? Hold
Yeah,
up.
yeah, double check that. But I want to say he at least came in the game against the Lakers one time. Maybe I'm wrong about that. ESPN's GameCast is a little goofy, but
I don't know.
he
He didn't
is.
participate in training camp. Uh, but it sounds like with the things I kind of just read, it seems like that he, the whole season isn't ruled out, so he could be on the court a little bit. Jokic. The thing with Jokic is, I feel like you can kind of give him the not exactly James Harden treatment, but you can give him something like that where you just surround him with shooters and athletes, and it's just gonna work because he's so good of a passer and facilitator. You have to respect him and his scoring ability as well as his passing ability. And then if you just have a motion offense around him with a whole bunch of people moving around, cutters and athletes, I mean, it's just going to work out. I mean, you have to hide his defensive. He's a defensive liability out there. I feel like he's
At
better
the
than
center
Karl Anthony
position.
Towns on defense, though. Yeah, I feel like he's better than Cat though because he's
I
better.
mean,
He's just smarter,
he is smarter,
but
but
that's not saying
to be
much.
fair, Cat's a poor defender, but he also has much more defensive potential just because of his athleticism.
Yeah,
Like
I
sooner or
just don't
later,
see it with Cat.
I mean, it's that's kind of the flaw with the Timberwolves right now. Cat, as good as he is, top five big man in the league in only his third or fourth season. He's going into his
Yeah.
third season. But
hmm
the Timberwolves, they feel like wasted potential. That's the story
Sounds
of the
like
Timberwolves right
KG.
now.
Sounds like another KG situation.
Well, KG was a rock. He was one of the top five players in the league,
Yeah,
but
what I'm
he
talking about
didn't
as
get
far as wasted potential,
it. Yeah,
not surrounding him with enough talent.
they find guys past their primes or players with attitude issues. Wiggins is currently by the end of this season will be officially the most overpaid player in the league.
Overpaid.
He's
Man,
not showing any growth in the areas where he needs to, which is mostly shooting and well, I guess defense too.
yeah.
If I'm
No, I
correct,
don't.
matter of fact, I am correct. I saw this at the end of last season. Wiggins' contests were the least effective in the league. Players made the highest percentage of contested shots against Wiggins in the league.
Man, Wiggins is just, he could be so good, but he's just not. He's not bad, but he's just a volume scorer who's, impacts otherwise is just moot. I mean, he doesn't do anything else but score inefficiently. He could be very good. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to count him out quite yet because he does have all that potential, but, it's just looking like Andrew Wiggins is just not a bust. He's not a bust, but very close to it.
Yeah,
Because he's just not producing
yeah
the way he was hyped up to.
the thing you realize is that by the time a player hits about 25 or 24, that's sort of the guy you're gonna get. Maybe different levels of that guy for the rest of his career. Wiggins is a little short of that. I think he's 23 years old now, but the clock's ticking.
Yeah, it's about that time to. If he doesn't improve this season, I'm ready to write him off as, that the B word bust.
Yeah. And again, we're using that term loosely because he's not necessarily a bad player, just a really disappointing one at this point.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the next Kobe, the next LeBron, and he's
He's not.
not even.
He's like the next maybe Monte Ellis.
Yeah, maybe.
Prime Monte Ellis. I mean, we've been through the Timberwolves now a bit, Nuggets. How about these Trailblazers? As I said earlier, I'm not a fan. Damian Lillard, obviously, top 15 player. McCollum is somewhere around 30. But I don't like Damian Lillard. Like, I think he's annoying. Personally, not a lot of players in this league complain as much about being slept on or recognized as he does, no matter how much recognition he gets.
I
Um,
mean, I don't even think Damian Lillard can be the best player on a championship contending team. I mean, I just don't like. Oh my God, this is crazy. I'm looking at their roster. They have a picture of Draymond Green for Evan Turner.
it's
That's
funny.
insane. But the I just don't like the Trailblazers roster as a whole. Yeah, they added Seth Curry, which will help a little bit when CJ's running with the bench, so they have a little bit more shooting out there. Yusuf Nurkic, he's okay. I don't really like him that much. Myers
Nuggets made the
Leonard,
right decision getting rid of him.
yeah, big time. Anthony Simon Simmons, whatever. It's too soon for him. Evan Turner can't shoot, but he should be okay with the bench.
They
They have
did
some pretty
snatch Gary
decent role
Trent.
players though.
They did snatch
Yeah,
Gary Trent in the draft. Steal.
that's exactly what I was about to do.
Second
What do you
round.
talk about? They got Al-Farouq Amino. He was hitting his shots this year. Very good defender, of course. Maurice Harkless. Pretty much same story. Nick Stauskas, very good shooter. Zach Collins, the jury's still out. I mean, he could end up snatching that starting power forward role from who's your starting power forward? Jeez. Oh, Al-Farouq Amino probably. But and then of course Gary Trent Jr., who's a sniper behind the arc. I mean, they have they have a nice roster with some really good role players. But if your best two players are Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, I just don't think it's gonna work out. You're gonna get abused defensively. Yusuf Nurkic is not. He's a pretty okay defender, but I don't think he's transformative on that end like people wanted to make it seem when he first got there.
Yeah, dude's a
Um,
rebounder mostly.
yeah, Myers Leonard not that good. Like I said, too early for Anthony Simmons. But I can see them getting around the ninth or 10th seed, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I just don't think they're good enough at this point because the Nuggets are much better. I feel like the only reason why people are going to say the Trailblazers were third seed last year, but that was only by like 1 or 2 games.
And you see what
That was the
happened when
only
they
thing
hit that
keeping them
playoff
from being
spot.
the ninth. Exactly, got destroyed by the
Pelicans. That's my other problem with Damian Lillard. As much as he complains about his recognition, come playoff time, consistently disappoints.
Consistently. And I think that's why I say he can't be the best player on the team. If you're banking on Damian Lillard being your franchise player and taking you to the promised land, it's just not happening. Even if
At-
that promised land is the conference finals, which
Yeah,
it probably is for the
which it
Blazers
is
at
for the
this point.
West. And another sad thing is just that, like, or another thing is that just that I don't see how Damian Lillard could really improve. Um, it's not often a player goes from top 15. A point guard like him goes from top 15 to what? Where would he go? Top 5? That's not possible because there's too many players better.
Way better.
I
I
mean,
mean, Damian Lillard, he's good, but he's not. I just
he's
don't
not
think
Steph.
he's better than. Yeah, he's not Steph for sure.
I think
He's
Kyrie's
not Russell Westbrook. He's
and
not
Kyrie's
Kyrie.
more efficient.
I feel like Kyrie's being slept on a little bit as well
Yeah,
since the Celtics run. He's
interesting
not
thing.
Kyrie. He's not even Chris Paul, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
interesting thing. Kyrie. I saw ESPN posted an article about his best highlights of the year. He is the best. He shoots over 50% when he takes both 5 or more or 10 or more dribbles. In a league where isolation basketball for an individual player has become significantly less efficient, it's pretty impressive. Just wanted to point that out.
Kyrie Irving is by far the best. Oh, I was about to say he's the best scoring point guard. He's the second best scoring point guard in the NBA, behind Stephen Curry. And he's not. It's not that far, to be honest, because Kyrie can still shoot the ball. He's one of the better shooters in the NBA. He can attack the basket.
He's a
He
better
gets creative
isolation
with those
player
finishes.
too.
Yeah, he's a much better isolation player than Stephen Curry, in my opinion, because he can get by defenders, finish out of the rim. Steph, he has, those floaters and whatnot, but he's not Kyrie's level.
Yeah,
And,
Steph's greater
Kyrie's
value comes as
probably,
an off-ball guy.
yeah, he's probably the best closer in the NBA as well. I mean, Kyrie is, what can you say? Kyrie's Kyrie. Damian Lillard is nowhere, he's not on that level to me.
Yeah, so
Like, I feel like Kyrie Irving could be one of your best players on a championship team if you
he
build
has
around him
been one of the
correctly.
best players on a championship team. Let's not forget.
Exactly, so.
Um, well, we've covered each team individually, gone over the Jimmy Butler situation a bit, so we'll close this out the way we do each of these division previews. We'll rank the teams, say which ones make the playoffs, and decide on our division MVP for this season. So, first up,
All right.
who would you say has a better regular season record? And, well, we'll say, who do you think gets the farthest in the playoffs between the Thunder and the Jazz this year?
Oh, Jesus. Oh. I think
Because I doubt they're playing each other in the first round again.
jeez, I want to say the Jazz, I really do, but they're still banking on a second-year player to get most of their offense, and the Thunder could get a lot better. Well, not a lot better, but they got better this offseason. I'm gonna say the Thunder. I feel like they get farther in the playoffs.
Yeah, I go Thunder. Depending on seeding, they could go to the conference finals, and they'll give the Rockets or the Lakers a run. They're probably better than the Lakers overall right now. Obviously,
Yeah,
that
for
puts
sure.
the Jazz as second. Who are the Jazz better than the Lakers?
The Jazz. Oh my God, the Lakers with LeBron James. It's hard to bet against that guy. Um,
I think they're a better team, but I don't
yeah,
think they
but
beat the
they don't
Lakers in a
have
playoff
a
series.
LeBron James.
Yeah,
They're
like
not the level of team that are just so much better than the other team that LeBron can't put in
overpower.
enough work to, overpower them. So
All right, next up, Nuggets. The question with them is not whether they make the playoffs to me, it's where they sit seeding wise. Off the top of my head, I'm looking at number 6, maybe number 7.
number 6 or 7, yeah, I don't think they get the eighth seed because I feel like they're just going to be too good for that. But 6 or 7, that sounds about right for the Nuggets.
Right. So follow that up. You have the Trailblazers. I think they're a surer bet than the Timberwolves. But
Because
okay,
whatever
here,
they get for Jimmy Butler is not going to be a needle mover.
yeah, nobody's gonna be trading that much for a rental, which may account to a rental, especially considering that Jimmy Butler is likely to be perceived as a temperamental guy now. Which
Locker room
here we
cancer.
go. Which All-Star backcourt gets broken up first? John Wall and Bradley Beal, or Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum?
Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Because personally, I don't. I like John Wall better than Damian Lillard, and I like Bradley Beal better than CJ McCollum. So I
Right.
just feel like they're the better overall backcourt, and they're much better defensively as well. I mean, I feel like you have a little bit more success with John Wall and Bradley Beal rather than CJ and Dame, because you're not gonna. I just don't trust them to
Right.
make a playoff run, and especially if you look at the conferences in the West. When did the Trailblazers just say it's time to give up, time to throw in the towel?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. The Wizards have. I do think that this is sort of a do or die year for the Wizards. If they fall behind the Bucks and the Pacers, then it may be time to blow that thing up. But
Especially since they added D12.
yeah, I said on the Southeast preview, I don't see him as the guy to the guy you bring in for a team that's dealing with
That
issues
dysfunctional.
already. But yeah,
They still
but
play, so
but when it comes down to it, the Trailblazers are in the more competitive conference, and they are on a shorter leash. Damian Lillard made that cryptic tweet, "I'm a happy guy" tweet toward the
happy
summer.
camper.
Yeah.
I'm usually
So
a very happy camper.
For someone who complains so much, I mean, I don't see how he is, but that's I think that's a sign of the times for the Trailblazers. And last in the division, we're going Timberwolves because of the uncertainty and the lack of development, mainly of Wiggins and defensively of Towns. So all that being
Right
said,
now,
yep, go on.
to me, Karl Anthony Towns is doing his best DeMarcus Cousins impression to where, he's so talented offensively. He has the potential to honestly be the best offensive big man ever. He can shoot. He can put the ball on the floor. He's very good in the low post. He hits his free throws like, a guy named Wilt Chamberlain
He's
couldn't do.
almost 40, 50, 90.
As a sender. So, Karl Anthony Towns, offensively, he's okay. I mean, not okay. Well, yeah, he's okay. But defensively, he's just so bad. He's doing the DeMarcus Cousins thing to where, they're good, they're talented, but at the same time, how impactful are they to winning because of how bad they are defensively? You can put up all the scoring numbers you want, but, unless you're on a team like the Warriors, like DeMarcus Cousins, or a team where you guys are just going to, they can mask your weaknesses, you're not going to go that far with a guy like Boogie or a Cat.
Yeah, I like I do think that he deserves a supermax because he has the potential to be a top 10 player, but he will have to.
The potential is still there.
Yeah, he's super athletic. So Towns, if he shows a little more, I think if he just tightens up, he gets a little more serious, then maybe you could see the Timberwolves being a playoff team just because of that. He could have that KG effect on them where he's the big ticket there. He's what makes them worth watching.
Do they have enough role players around him to make the playoffs? Like enough role players that fit in with him?
I don't know. They
Andrew
still have
Wiggins,
Teague.
he's going to hijack the offense. Teague can't really shoot.
They still have Teague, and what's they lost
Jamal Crawford still? No.
No one signed Jamal Crawford. Do they have Bajilica? Where did Bajilica go?
He's on the Kings. Bielitsa, he's on the Kings.
Bielitsa, that's his name. And then Taj Gibson? Oh right, Luol Deng.
No.
The $27 million man.
Taj Gibson, that's kind of interesting though. They could run him. Something I was thinking about was running Taj, because he's still a very good defender. I feel like you could run Taj Gibson at center and maybe move Cat to maybe power forward, and that, it's not going to hide him completely, but he's not the centerpiece of the defense anymore.
Right.
They can't continuously attack him, so maybe they could move Taj to center. Maybe if Miami for some reason traded Bam Adebayo for Jimmy Butler, that could be a thing as well.
Yeah, if they do Bam, maybe Bam in a first rounder. No Josh Richardson, no Winslow. That would be a pretty reasonable package, but I don't think excuse me, I don't think that Thibodeau is going to trade Jimmy Butler for that little. So last up here, division MVP.
Russell Westbrook won't get out of his own way. Donovan Mitchell, second year. I don't like Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum. Karl Anthony Towns won't have enough support. You already know where I'm going.
Yep.
I already know where I'm going.
Nikola Jokic is in the position to improve his team the most, be the centerpiece. You won't have any. It's very difficult to find a negative narrative to surround a team that improves that didn't make the playoffs the year before. So this is his year.
Rudy Gobert, but
he's a defensive player.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that he's
a defensive player, but still.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, it's not like he's a negative on offense because he does his job. He rebounds, and he gets dunks. But
he's not Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. So that's it for this episode. You see our Northwest preview here. Thank you so much for being on with me, Xavier. I had a great time talking with you. It's always great to have, get people from the outside who have who aren't on our normal panel with such great basketball knowledge. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think about this division and whether or not they will be the best in the league this year. 3 legit playoff teams. I don't know who. Maybe you could argue the Atlantic, as we said, but I think that's it for me. Adios.